Hey, what's up, everyone? You are watching the J's, my comic book podcast, my comic book journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY, and this is episode number 8. Today's topic will be The Savage Dragon, issue 0, the inspiring origin issue from Erik Larsen, who is the creator, writer, artist, talented individual. Savage Dragon was definitely one of my favorite series growing up and reading. Um, it's changed a lot though. So, for those of because I'm doing this episode, I'm reviewing something that took place probably in the 2000s, 2000. What? Let me look here. Was it 2005 or is it 2006? It was released 2006, July 2006. So, uh, the comic books have changed in a way that back then it was action oriented, as it still is now. But the difference is now there is a big over reliance on sex. So, in a way sometimes people think that Erik Larsen is appeasing to the P-Hub style of fans for this comic book. It's just a different style. Um, but if you are into that, then definitely. I guess I would say people ask me what kind of comic book is Savage Dragon. I said back then it was a really cool action comic book, but you know after 2014 or 2015, it's become more of a sex violence, do whatever you want type of thing. And in a way, I think that's where Erik Larsen has taken the comic book series. He pretty much doesn't give any f's about what people think, and he doesn't care about censorship or anything. He just does his thing and does it to entertain people. And a lot of people uh, kind of just read it and they're just shocked of how far out his storylines have become, especially some of the artwork. But hey, that's Erik Larsen, and whatever he does, that's his thing, right? So it's all good. But the Savage Dragon, this issue was really interesting because it was the origin issue that was first featured on the Image Comics hardcover issue, or hardcover book. It was more like a reunion, supposedly celebrating the 10th anniversary, but then I guess artists were late, no surprise. Uh, Especially if you are a longtime Image Comics fan. Uh, it ended up coming years later, and I think Larsen knew this, and he had a lot of choice words to say about that origin issue, and I'll talk about that later. But what you have here is an origin issue, and it is about the original dragon, the way he was before, when he was known as Emperor Kerr. This is before he became the superhero, way before he became the police officer. Um, Back then, he was a badass that even his own people did not like because he was a leader. He was the emperor, and he wanted to pretty much take over a world, and he wanted to take over Earth, pretty much decimate the just kill everybody off, pretty much. But his people are like, hey, you can't do that. We're supposed to be respectful to cultures. We're supposed to not you know not murder anybody, because everyone was pretty much against it. But he just says that, you know what, I don't care what you say. We're doing this because I say so. And no one can really understand his advisors can't understand his mindset of why he is this kind of person. And meanwhile, they are trying to mate him with another, a dragon woman, and each time they end up dead. Um, in a way, sometimes I wonder if this is what you see, the aftermath is something that you see currently in Image Comics, especially Savage Dragon issues today. Um, it's because of how the dragons, maybe this dragon or his son Malcolm, uh, the SEX type of stuff tends to get in the way. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm spelling it out, it's because of YouTube. They don't allow certain words to be said, or they erase it, or they just block it out or something like that. So you probably noticed that with other YouTube channels. But anyway, yeah, Emperor Kerr is pretty much wanting to decimate, become this ruler of worlds, and his people, his advisors, don't believe in that, so they need to come up with a plan to stop it from happening. So I'm not going to go into more of what the story is about, but that is the main gist of what was featured of the original dragon. So for those of you wondering, about the issue and why was it released as a comic book when it was first released as a story in the hardcover, the Image Comics hardcover. And let's go ahead and read this. Like it's more of the editor space, the letters to the editor, but instead of the letters from people, he's going to go ahead and answer the reason why this issue was released in 2006. Well, there you go. For years, folks have been asking me about the origin of the Savage Dragon, and it's a subject I've been pretty tight-lipped about. My intention was to never spill the beans. Actually, I thought it would be cool if it remained a mystery forever. Hell, I liked the idea of his origin being simply that he was found naked in a burning field with no memory of his past, but then something happened. It was decided that for Image Comics' 10th anniversary, we'd publish a special hardcover book, reuniting the remaining Image founders with their original creations. A neat idea, but for me it presented something of a problem. You see, I never left. I'd continued doing Savage Dragon since the day one. I was still doing it then as I write this. Approaching Image's 15th anniversary, I'm still doing it now. As much as I think each and every issue of Savage Dragon is special, the idea of me doing just another dragon yarn might not be perceived by the general public as being such a big screaming deal. I dismissed the idea of doing a story which took place in the present day for a number of reasons. First, I didn't want to do some one-off story that had no ramifications. I thought, given the occasion, this should be something significant. Second, given that I thought it would be unfair to force readers to buy an expensive book in order to be able to understand the inevitable following up in the ongoing nearly monthly title. And third, I wasn't convinced everybody involved would get their act together and finish their part of the book in a timely manner. I didn't want to have my regular book being affected because of that fear, which proved to be prophetic. Had I introduced a major new foe or had the dragon get married or get a new job, I couldn't refer to those events until that book was out, and as it turned out, that would have meant having the characters' lives progress at a snail's pace for nearly 4 years. So I decided to finally tell Dragon's origin story. I did it, drawing the story in late 2001, and then I waited for the others to complete their stories. Valentino's followed shortly thereafter. The remaining two did not. By the time the book finally shipped, it was years late. We resolicited the book. We had to the intervening time since we had initially offered it. Stores had opened and closed. Fans had moved on, or even, in one case, died. Orders were cut. The book shipped, and yet in short time it was sold out. It was decided not to reprint the book, not to do a softcover version, and the inevitable grumbling followed. All I wanted was to read Savage Dragon's origin, I heard from countless fans, and now I can't even do that. And then Valentino and Mark announced that they would be reprinting their parts of the book. And folks started asking when Dragon's origin was going to get reprinted. There were a few fans that purchased the Image hardcover who wanted the story to remain one that could be found only in that publication. And honestly, I'd have liked that as well, but as they say, you can't put the toothpaste back into the tube. Once Dragon's origin story got out there, word spread, and people that had read it were telling those who hadn't what went on. Truth be told, I'd rather you hear it from me than from them. Given the demand, I caved in, as much as I wanted to keep a lid on it. I inevitably had to buckle. The fans won, so here it is. If this is your introduction to the Savage Dragon, I encourage you to check out another issue or two. The dragon contained in this tale is nothing like the one who's been appearing on your favorite comic book racks all these years. The story doesn't really give you an idea of what the Savage Dragon is actually like. He's really not that bad. You might even like him. And it tells you next issue would be the miniseries first introducing the Savage Dragon. So that was there's like 3 issues of that one. So yeah, that was issue 0 of Savage Dragon, the origin issue. The way I feel about it is that, yeah, while it does give you some idea of why he was found in the field, I don't know if the storyline was really important. I guess it's really subjective. Personally, I liked his idea, that to not spill the beans and to keep it a mystery of why he was found in that field. I thought that would have been just fine, perfectly fine. But I understand, giving people what they want, the origin, and whether or not you like the origin is, I guess it's subjective to the reader. I personally felt that it was okay. I didn't think it was super great. I just felt it is what it is, and in a way, you kind of got to, reading it now, 2024, while this comic book came out in 2006, it kind of gave you a glimpse of Erik Larsen when he began to transition from the style that he was known for back then to the style he is known for now. A perverted artist and writer. Just joking. No, I think whatever he wants to do, it's all good. I know he likes to push the button, push things, because there is no censorship, there is no comics code authority. He can do whatever he wants, and I think I think people like that rebellious side of him, because he's doing comics that you're not going to see anywhere. Well, I guess maybe if you're into hentai or ecchi type of manga, then maybe you might see something like that there. But that's something in America or the Western, in the West, you don't really see that, right? So for the most part, it's a cool issue. If you find it, definitely check it out. If you definitely want to have that origin issue, but I don't think it's something that you should go all out to find. It is what it is, and he did it for this hardcover book. And if anything, it's just, I just look at it as yes, it may be canon, but at the same time, it seems like it's so uncanon. It just seems so different. I mean, it's typical Erik Larsen, but at the same time, just the whole thing about Emperor Kerr was just like, okay, that that just leaves you with more questions of why he became this cruel type of monster. But I guess we may never know the answer to that, because now we have a different Savage Dragon today, which is his son Malcolm. So I think, if anything, it's an okay origin issue, but again, it's not something you should definitely spring out for or spend a lot for. It is what it is. It's okay. It's a good comic, but just not the best. There's, again, Savage Dragon is a wonderful series, especially early on. I loved it. So, okay, everyone, you take care, and I'll see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.